I got some news, mate. How did you notice?
All right, big news. Big news. I'm about to be taking the biggest risk of my entire life. 3 weeks ago, I had my last day at my engineering job. For the past 3 weeks, I've been selling pretty much everything I own. And in 1 week's time, I'll be getting a one-way flight with 0 plans to return. And look, leaving the engineering job was a big deal for me. I did 6 years training total for that job. You know, I had a massive area that I managed. I got a nice car. I had the best boss I've ever had, great colleagues. And you know, I loved the job. Don't get me wrong, it was graft. You're working in some questionable, dirty places. You know, you've got to know your stuff. It can be really stressful. But look, it was a great job. And it was reflected by the duration at which the other staff members had been there. I was asking around 30 years, 25 years, 20 years, even the young ones, 10, 12 years. And look, I think it could have kept me too for a long time. But in just the first 2 years and 3 months of that job, I had 2 of the most devastating phone calls a man could get. Cole Joseph Spencer, my brother, my younger brother, my best friend, my right hand. You know, we both grew up in less than favorable circumstances. 7 people in a three bedroom council house in Bestwood. Yeah, never really had shit. We shared our box room. That gave us a different level of hunger. You know, we both had that mindset. You know, we're both grafters and we had that lust for more. We wanted more. We knew we could be successful and we were going to get it by any means. By any means. The perfect partner for this mission. The biggest thing he taught me was to be fearless. You know, when we were younger, I was the shy one. He was the one who'd go talk to anyone, go do whatever. It didn't matter. No matter who was watching, he'd do his thing. And that was the same throughout his entire life. You know, I'm not even glazing him, but he was a G. Everyone who knew him knew it. Yeah, absolutely loved the lad. Such a sweet guy as well. Like, he was the best. He was honestly the best. And, you know, I never took it for granted. I never did. And that's one thing that I can be thankful for, because throughout our entire relationship, I always knew I fucking love this brother. I love this guy. I used to think about it, even when there was no inclination that he would ever pass. When I used to think about the thought of him passing, it used to bring me to tears, genuinely. So it was 21st of September 2022. I think I was a week or 2 into my new job. And I got a call from my mum telling me that he had been found dead. And look, it's very, very hard, impossible for me to articulate what that is like. I'm not even going to try. But it was always my worst, the thought of it was always my worst nightmare. It still is to this day. And it just is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. And it happened. Now it was just me and my dad in this house. You know, it was obviously devastating. I was worried about him. He was worried about me. But we kept it pushing. We fought through together. John Joseph Nagel. My dad, my pops, strongest man I'll ever know. You know, he was extremely intelligent, 2 degrees, astrophysics, computing, both firsts, knew loads of programming languages, ran countless marathons, had a 5-hour ultra. No matter how early in the day I would wake up, he'd be up grafting, guaranteed. Extremely hardworking, you know. And this man, I think my life's hard. Oh, woe is me. No. This man knew pain, genuinely. I'm not going to go too deep into my father's personal life. Extremely rough childhood. Brother passed in the most tragic way and then lost his son, just to name a few. He had it extremely difficult, dealing with mental health issues at the same time. And, you know, to see him fight through that and keep a smile on his face, I admire him a lot. So I was away for a month. I went 3.5 weeks in Thailand, and then I was in Australia over the 2025 New Year's. And it was January the 3rd that I received a very similar phone call from my sister telling me that my dad had also been found dead. Again, I'm not even going to attempt to try and vocalize that. You can probably imagine. I had to return back, being the last man standing, literally the last man left in this house. It's my room, my dad's room, Cole's room, and it was just me left, genuinely. So, you know, even one of these losses can change your outlook forever. Both of these in conjunction, you're a different person, genuinely. And I've not thought the same way since. It completely switches your mindset. The obvious, you know, showing that people do die, and a lot sooner than you think. But also for me, it was like the ship of normality had sailed. That comfortable family life, that abolished forever for me. And my mentality was, and is, that I've been given an extraordinary circumstance. I need an extraordinary ending. So I've had this in mind for a long time. And I'm telling you now, I would rather live 5 to 10 years taking risks, getting at it, living free and going for my dreams, and then die at the end of it, than have another 50 years mundane. That is not in my fucking fate anymore. That ship has sailed. Before I could do this, I had a mission and I had a promise to fulfill that I made to my dad of completing a full Ironman distance triathlon. So for the past 6-7 months, I went from doing no cardio, bearing in mind that Ironman distance triathlon is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and then a 26.2 mile marathon at the end, back to back. So I went from doing literally no cardio at all, 200 days of training, countless hours, wetsuit on, in open water, huge bike rides, massive runs, and we got it done. 11 hour, 27, and that promise to my dad that I made had been fulfilled. So now it's time to go. On August 16th, I've got a one-way ticket to Bali, Indonesia. I've got a week villa, and that is it. I've got a laptop, I've got a phone, I've got an online coaching business that I've just launched, have barely promoted, and to be honest, I'm making very minimal money from. I will be open and transparent. And a lot of people tell me, oh, you need to get the coaching up and running, you need to get the clients, get the income. Fuck all that. I don't care. This is where the risk comes. I'm taking what I have, I'm fucking off, and I will work it out. I'm going to work it out. And if I don't, I went for it at least. And look, I will be videoing. If it's good or bad, I don't care. You are gonna know about it. The pressure is on. I could do all this, I could sell up, I could be out there for 3 months, nothing's cracking, and I fail. So be it. I don't care. I would rather shoot for the moon, land with the stars, and even if I crash and burn, I know and I can die saying that I tried. So I wanted to make this video for you. If you're the type of person who's sitting in your work van or sitting on break, eating your lunch, oh, I've got to get back on the floor soon. Alarm rings, go for your lunch, alarm rings, you get back, and you think to yourself, is this it? My one spin, my one run on this life, and I'm going to accept this for 50, 60 years. If you want more, the dream life of yours is on the other side of one big risk. And if I can do it, if I make this work now, then there's no reason that you can't. God bless.